Man, we ain't dead on jail, so we live with it. I'm back. I'm back. About to hit y'all some of this content. You know what I'm saying? Again, one more time. We doing it all night. We rocking all night long. Feel me? Let's go back to our history and get back to it. Get back to where we was at. I'm saying Diddy now. We talking about all that, man. We talking about the Diddy and all them boys, man. Feel me? Look at this. Let's just look at this. Feel me? Put that motherfucking situation, man. Yeah, we gotta record. Tripping. Man, glad to have y'all with me, man, for the content, man. We just finna check, we finna get into this Diddy thing. You feel me? Y'all just let me know what y'all thinking, man. You know what I'm saying? Drop a like, subscribe. It's BJM Beats, man. Shout out to the streets. Let's get it. Finna go, you know what I'm saying? Today, you feel me? Everybody been hitting me up about the Diddy thing and what's the latest, you know what I'm saying? So, we gonna give y'all just nothing but the real, you feel me, the real latest. We ain't gonna play with y'all, you feel me, like everybody else do. We gonna give y'all what y'all came for, you feel me? We gonna give y'all the content y'all came for. Y'all wanna know what's really going on. So I'm finna, you know what I'm saying, with the Diddy thing, you feel me? So finna hit y'all with the content, you feel me? It's like this, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? Finna hit y'all with this content real quick.
She says Christina
Let's
Quorum.
go back.
By Mr. Combs and another individual that Mr. Combs directed to assault her. She was able to escape the assault.
Now representing in a claim against Sean Combs. Tell me a little bit, first of all, about this new client that you are representing.
Yes, I had a young lady reach out to me about 2.5 weeks ago in reference to a sexual assault that occurred in 2018 by Mr. Combs and another individual that Mr. Combs directed to assault her. She was able to escape the assault and ran out into the street, and a neighbor heard her. This was a very quiet neighborhood in Northern California, and heard her and brought her in the house, and the police were called.
She was in
and she filed a police report. I've actually been in talks already with the police department that she filed the police report with. I am actively working with them to figure out what did and did not happen and why things
Hey,
were
not
not,
Sophia, how you doing?
I don't want to say taken seriously, but what type of investigation
Shout out.
was conducted once my client made that those statements and made that report to the police. And I am in the process now of writing her complaint and getting it filed in California courts.
All right, we're gonna stop it right there. So basically, she talking about she representing for the victims right now, currently of the P Diddy situation. You feel me? And she's talking about how a lot of her cases are linked together due to this situation. So let's just get into the content.
So you're telling me a woman contacted you and said, I actually called police in 2018 about being sexually assaulted by Sean Combs, but yet we never heard about it?
She did tell me that when she initially made the report, she didn't say who it was. She later did call and amend. She said she felt almost crazy that if she were to say who it was, that they wouldn't have believed her when she initially made the report. And I've had that similarly happen to my client in the Trey Songz case, where Mr. Combs, if you look up my case that's currently still pending in litigation in Florida with Trey Songz, Mr. Combs is listed as a defendant in that case. I also had a case with Chris Brown the following year in 2022, where my client, two young ladies, were raped on a boat at Sean Combs' home. And imagine me as an attorney making these statements, advancing these things in court. No one was willing to listen to me in 2021 and 2022. So I can only imagine in 2018 when she did make this phone call to police and was very nervous about saying who it was, that why she wouldn't have said it initially, but she did later on amend her complaint to let the police know it was Mr. Combs.
So look, the lady saying that she worked with her client. Her client is one of several clients in the P Diddy situation, right? That I guess got allegations on other artists too. I guess she said she had one victim from Trey Songz, that I guess in her case with the Trey Songz, P. Diddy's tied to it. They was at his mansion or wherever they was at, and they got in. Bam. Then they got the other one where they saying, she's saying it's Chris Brown and it's two girls, and P. Diddy tapped into that too. What's going on with the Diddy, man? Man, what's going on? Y'all tell me, man. You feel me? Knock my helmet off. You feel me? Knock my top off around this thing. You feel me? Shout out to the streets, man. We in here, man. It's ugly. You feel me? When it get ugly, I put this on. It's ugly. You feel me? And so basically, she just hitting y'all with what's going on from their perspective, and then we just gonna follow it and just respond.
The allegations involving Sean Combs go to show you how you might need a lawyer at some point in your life.
She trying to sell me something. I don't want to buy it, lady. You know what I'm saying? Well, you might need some at some point in your life. She trying to sell you some fake insurance that you buy the insurance. Now they coming looking for you. Talking about, hey, your car, suddenly the brakes don't work as good as they once did. You feel me? Nah, you ain't getting us like that. You feel me? She trying to get us out of our element. But let's go to this one right here with the Jaguar Wright lady and her talking about all this type of stuff that she's saying that she witnessed. You feel me? With Jay-Z in it though.
General misogyny towards women away from the music, and that clearly seems to have been borne out by these charges against Diddy, which if he's found guilty of all this, he's never coming out of prison. How dangerous do you think?
Thank God.
How dangerous do you think he is?
Look, she looked pissed. She looked mad.
I think he's one of the most dangerous people I've ever met.
Whoa.
A lot of people have been questioning, well, she doesn't really know him. She has no knowledge of him. She doesn't have a picture with him. I'm smarter than Claudia Jordan. I would never take a picture with the devil. Everyone knew he was the devil. He's been the devil for 30 years. He's been covered and protected by not only Clive Davis, but Lucian Grange.
We don't know none of them dudes.
He was selected to be the demon that he is to keep the culture in line so the industry could continue to rape it for all of its precious jewels.
Is that the
We have too many lost. The list of lost is ridiculous. And everyone knows Diddy was selected for this job. He's the Judas.
Do you think that if he's tormented in the way that he's been now, that he may start revealing things about other people?
He has no choice. His ego and his drug addiction won't allow him to do anything different. Anybody who thinks he's not going to talk is crazy.
Oh, he gonna get it out there. He gonna let it be known.
The simple fact that he's not saying more now only means that the people who have been protecting him all along, who put him in position to be such a horror to the Black community, still find value in him. He's got everybody on tape. They all know it.
They don't know it.
For those who were never at these freak-off parties,
Freak-off parties.
what were they like?
Freak-off parties.
See, this is the thing. Everything that I'm about to say to you is not my firsthand knowledge. It is my firsthand witness account experience. I was a sex worker. I was a dominatrix before I got my
Busting them dates.
That's how I know how the dark world and the sex world and the entertainment world run hand in hand.
She was on that blade, y'all.
That's why the movie Blink Twice is so important. Salute to Zoe Kravitz.
Diddy's oil plug. Is that Jaguar?
The
That's
sex workers
Jaguar.
that I have worked with throughout the
That's
years
her.
and continue to work with, even to this day, have worn hidden cameras.
Said they was wearing
I have
hidden
my own
cameras.
tapes. I've seen what they do,
So
the
she got her own
ritualistic
tapes.
behaviors, the drugging, putting girls in the suitcases.
Whoa.
Trump intends to enact a
Putting girls in the suitcases, though, is crazy. Hold on, let's get that. You know what I'm saying? skip the commercial break. You feel me? That's crazy though. You heard him say he's putting girls in suitcases. And then she said earlier, she said Jay-Z got something to do with it too, but he laying low. He ducking like he can't be caught up or something. He said they protect. She said Jaguar Rice said they protecting Jay-Z. Let's get back into it.
Dumping him in alleyways. It's horrifying.
Who do that?
And it's all done under the protection of this is going to be paid off. There's another NDA. This is going to be, it's terrible.
No said
it seems to have been something that people
she out in everywhere.
a
Yeah,
lot of people
she
knew
said
about,
Jay-Z next,
but
yeah.
people were simply
Jay-Z
too
lucky
scared
married
to talk
Beyonce.
about.
Facts.
Everyone knows.
What's going on over the
every
sea?
person that's sitting there
Man, we'll
trying
get to that
act
too.
surprised
We'll talk about all that if y'all want.
knows very well. The whole point of this, like Cat Williams said when he sat with Shay Shay earlier this year, the whole point of this is for them in a coordinated effort to pretend like none of it is real for the public's perception. But everyone knows what's going on, and it's been going on for years. It's been going on before Diddy. See, people keep looking at him like he's the Sputnik that came out of nowhere. This is someone who was designed to be what he is. We got to stop making ditties.
Not years, decades.
And if we're going to do that,
that's a fact.
we got to go back. We got to go back
That's
to
a
even
fact.
further
Not
the
years,
mentors
but
of these
decades,
people.
though.
Because Diddy was taught how to do what he does systematically, and Clyde Davis has been his greatest teacher.
Clyde Davis gonna die, bro. That nigga
Look,
90 years old.
Clive Davis is not here to respond to that, nor is Jay-Z. But a lot of people, famous people in the music industry, have been notable, like I say, by their silence so far. It's also been notable that since the Me Too campaign began in 2017,
There you go. That's
the
the one I
music
was
industry
thinking
has
about.
largely avoided the same scrutiny that other industries have had. Why do you think that is?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Nah, tell it. You heard it.
Since Me Too began in 2017, the music industry has largely avoided the same kind of scrutiny that other industries have had. Why do you think that is?
Well, because the Me Too movement was a ruse.
It's a ruse.
It was a setup. It was a scam. I'm saying that now, publicly.
Ooh. She said Me
Dream
Too
Hampton
scam, fam.
spearheaded the Surviving R. Kelly campaign, which it fueled the Me Too campaign. And that was all funded by Sean Carter to make sure that Robert Kelly went to jail.
50 Cent called all these. That's
Get his
no
lick
said
back.
weirdos too. Yep, he did. 50 be
Why
calling
is
them out.
nobody understanding that Dream Hampton was being financed and ran by Sean Carter? They were able to go and get all of these witnesses because he was there
She want
with
Jay-Z up outta here.
Robert Kelly. How does Jay-Z sit down with Gayle King and she not ask him one question about the intersection between him and Aaliyah and Robert Kelly? This is insane that people keep refusing to see what's right there.
Do
If
you
the Me
think
Too movement were real, why aren't they speaking now? They've also been very quiet in this time of the diddler's downfall.
The Diddler's downfall.
Jaguar,
Yes, they on vacation.
if this goes to
They can
court,
make a
Jaguar,
movie
do you
called
think
that.
the world is going to be shocked by what comes out?
Oh, absolutely. I just don't know why they are. It's been happening in front of everyone's faces for decades.
So look, so far they said they got Chris Brown tied up. I'm just saying who lately, the latest ones, you know, it's other ones, but the latest ones is Chris Brown, Trey Songz, and Jay-Z, and Clyde Davis, of course. But it's like, damn, it's like we kind of expected it, but we didn't know to this extreme, you know what I mean?
For decades.
How many victims?
What's the difference between me and Judy Garland? Social media.
How many victims?
There was none for her.
How many victims?
How many victims potentially do you think there could be?
Piers Morgan be asking the right
Thousands.
questions. Usher, yep, Usher too.
I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself. I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well.
Beyonce too? Oh,
they're a nasty little couple.
Oh,
they do nasty things.
Beyonce them get out too?
What do you think happened with Kim
keeping
Porter?
people against their will, putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane. Unconscious.
Oh, you think
there's a lot
Aaliyah?
of things that people don't want to talk.
Man, hold on. They trying to get some free promotion. Y'all think they set Aaliyah up though? That's crazy. Aaliyah did just die out of nowhere. She was real nice and healthy, and then she just passed away.
Listen, like I said, Jay-Z and Beyonce are not here, unfortunately, to respond to that.
I know. I'm just being honest
I let
with
Beyonce do.
So you're perfectly entitled to your views, obviously. Kim Porter,
yes.
a new book claims that Diddy may have been involved in her early death. What did you think of that?
I think people should really look into that more.
What you think?
I am friends with Albie Shore.
Okay.
I love him. I love his children. I knew Kim. We used to all hang out together at the Kit Kat Club back in the mid-90s when Diddy was first starting his reign. I watched that whole thing happen. And
you should have said something.
Everything that Albert has been through, every attempt on his life that has been ignored by the authorities, it all leads back to Diddy. And everyone knows it.
Yeah, she take a deal.
The wiretapping of the phones, putting AirTag on children during visits.
AirTag?
These are normal practices that these people do.
AirTags on the kids?
Jaguar, I've got to leave it there.
Heavy work.
I really appreciate you joining me. Thank you very much.
That's heavy work. So we got Jaguar Wright saying Diddy and Jay-Z they working in coercion, in cahoots. You feel me, together. And then this the lady that represents the victims of the situation that you know what I mean, with the Diddy and all that.
Diddy's alleged victims. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. There are so many people coming forward now with allegations about Diddy. What do you think about the scale of this case?
And Vlad TV on there. Yeah, Vlad. We're going to hit Vlad last.
Prior to panelists. First with Mrs. Jaguar Wright. She said a lot of things that were very jarring in her explanation of what she saw and had firsthand accounts on. My concern for her, she's saying a lot of things that could be considered libelous.
Right.
And I would suggest that she contacts an attorney, if only to vet the information she has or purports to have from other victims. At least they can protect her, and then they can also do their due diligence, the attorneys, to...
She don't want to say it. But she feel like Jaguar Wright messing up her case, because Jaguar Wright throwing Jay-Z and Beyonce and all that in there, you feel me? She really feel like she want to say that as an attorney, but she can't just say it in so many words because Jaguar Wright might have a case herself and she don't want to mess up her case. But really, Jaguar Wright is kind of throwing shade on her case by adding extra members that may have not been vetted in the process. You dig what I'm saying? To where it's like, you throwing that extra salt out there. Don't do that, man. We got a whole case over here. We working on this. And you putting it, nah, don't do that, because they got enough money to beat the whole case. You feel me? So she don't want that. She's trying to get Jaguar, hey, I would tell her she don't need to do that. You feel me? That's what's going on with that.
Make sure that the information she's receiving is accurate outside of the things that she knows and may have proof of. I was very concerned about some of the things that she had said in her prior segment. I also want to address Mr. Vlad, who I know to be a culture vulture, who takes from the Black community and doesn't give back and puts artists in situations where then they are indicted by the police, and he's very much so,
let me stop it there. It sounds like they don't really nobody on there really get along, but they all going against the same group of people. You dig what I'm saying? Like, they all kind of like if you see Vlad, he got remember he funking with Marlon Wayans right now, He got like a thing with he gets Shannon Sharp, and mind you, Shannon Sharp is the one that brought on Cat Williams, who really busts open a can of worms for the whole industry, and probably the reason why P Diddy partly in jail. You know what I mean? Because when he busts open that can of worms, all the secrets start getting exposed, and now it's like he probably know the most secrets because he been having the money for the longest, right? So there's a lot of other people that's millionaires. They new millionaires. They just now got, or billionaires. They just now got their billion. He been up. So it's like he been around these rooms and in these situations to where it's like, he could do a lot of things that us regular people can't do. And it's like, you got those Jaguar rights, those people that was in those rooms with them, and they seen things. You know what I'm saying? And most of the people, if y'all notice, artist wise, that ain't rapping, didn't have like a long, a long run. They quit early, but they made it somewhere. It's like they seen something and was like, nah, this is too much. Feel me? Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Facts. Mamas. And that's what's going on. That power is corrupting to the point to where anybody who come in the room pretty much be a victim of what's going down. You feel me?
What we call police type investigation in the Black community. And for him to repudiate what Mrs. Wright has said, I thought was completely out of line. He can say he doesn't agree, which is fine. But for him to be someone who constantly uses the Black community and uses them as a means for his platform, I thought that was very inconsiderate and unprofessional. Now, to get to your question that you asked of me, regarding the victims. There are victims coming out every day, even someone who contacted me last night. So, and it's only standing to be more individuals coming out. I do talk to some of the other attorneys who represent victims that we already have known because they filed cases, who have additional victims who plan to come forward, and they plan to file cases against very soon. So it's only a matter of how many more are going to come out, and it seems to be it'll be very many more.
You've said that you've been contacted regarding the sale of one of the Diddy freak-off tapes, and that it features a very high-profile celebrity. What can you tell us about that?
So actually, I recently was contacted by one of my business partners who's also an attorney.
When something like this happens,
said to me, well, why are we not
sometimes I feel like people
the
just
demand letter
jump on a bandwagon trying to get paid.
And
nah, that's a fact.
If you want to do
it,
then I'll connect you and you can essentially do it. He was also concerned about wanting to protect the other person who was in the film, mainly because I've known about this for about 3.5 weeks to about a month. I've been communicating.
These attorneys stand to make millions off this case right here. These attorneys that's representing, the people, the victims, whether they are victims or not victims, you feel me? They stand to make millions off this one case. This case right here is life-changing for many of the people, you feel me? It's life-changing money, you feel me? It's like, man, all I gotta do is just be like, yeah, feel me? I can go find a couple of people and be like, bruh. Man, the lady said earlier, she said, oh yeah, I got a victim from Northern California. Now, mind you, you mean tell me Pete Diddy, where he's at? Up in Sacktown? Where he's at? Was Stockton? He was with Modesto, and he ran to one of them little young things, and they was like, no, Pete Diddy, I don't want you. How did she get that? You feel me? I don't know. Some of it seemed a little far-fetched. My boy No said, yeah, the attorney's going to get cashed out. That's facts, you feel me? It's like, they stand to make millions. This is the biggest case they ever prosecuted in their life. She said she prosecuted, this is the same lady that on the other interview, she said she prosecuted, she's in the middle of prosecuting Trey Songz for sexual assault. And in the middle, she said something about prosecuting Chris Brown for 2 sexual assaults. You feel me? And it's all linked to Diddy somehow. Man, all these people on here, it's just strange. You know what I mean, to say the least. Let's just listen to what she got to say, though.
Communicating with these people who purport to have that videotape. And it wasn't until Thursday night that they outright said, can you write on your letterhead a letter to the individual who's also in the tape and see if they're interested in a catch and kill. And is that something we'll give you X amount of percentage of it? And at the time I was like, I don't think I want to be involved in this, but I hadn't had time to process. But the other attorney I'm speaking of, he's pretty much been in the know the entire time since I first got.
No, said maybe it was me.
I'm a senior getting.
Maybe it was me. I could get paid. Yeah, you feel me? You could just go in there, just anybody, just bill up in there like, man, for real, I got, and then have some fake inconclusive proof. You could do your thing for real.
We're pursuing now a meeting with the three of us for us to broker, I guess, a situation where we'll have certain guarantees that once we make the representations to the person in the tape, that we have some level of assurances that this is a valid tape.
And just to be clear, two thoughts about this. One, is it a household name that we're talking about here? And secondly, are they engaged in any criminality from what you understand?
Household name, very much so. More of a household name than Mr. Combs.
Wow.
And
that's the second person that said that. Second person that said it. Who is this person that's more of a household name? Is it Donald Trump? Like who is this person that they keep saying is more of a household name? This in the Diddy. It's Obama. Oh, that's a cold thing. I hope it ain't the family, man. It could be. You never know. Like, you feel me? We've been more shocked before. You feel me? So we've been more shocked just by seeing this whole situation unfold. It's extremely shocking. So I ain't putting nothing past nobody in no situation. You feel me? I ain't got a dog in the fight. You feel me? Ain't none of them finna be like, hey, BJM, let me put you on real quick or none of that. You feel me? So, yeah, with that being said, let's get back to the content.
Criminality, they are engaged in pornography. They're not doing anything illegal per se. I can't say that well, I'll say this. My concern was that I could not verify the age of the individual. And so that was my concern about not having anything sent to me and viewing it in the way that I did via stills, via FaceTime video. So I didn't want to have anything in my phone because my issue is we can't determine if this person is 17 to 21.
Right. Fascinating. It's been reported there could be a class action with over 50 alleged victims of Diddy. It also
class action lawsuit with over 50 victims, y'all. Y'all heard that? Come on, y'all know what that means. It's a money chase, baby. It's a money grab. Throw the money in the air so you can grab some of the most. You feel me? Like that's a money grab. Like if something really like that, and that's kind of messed up for the real victims of crimes like that. That's really, really, really disappointing for them, bro. It's real victims out there, bro, that really had something happen to them. And the person that did that to them was broke. You feel me? Like the person that did that in real life didn't have no money to where they can do a class action lawsuit and get paid. You know what they justice was? That person going to jail. That was it. They didn't get no back end, wasn't no funding. They didn't get no GoFundMe blessings, none of that. 50 people though is crazy, my boy said. You feel me? Like, come on, like, think about it. That's a crazy money grab though. Like, 50 people, you could just be like, yeah, I was over there kicking it. Like, you feel me? Everybody kicks it with people. I was just kicking it. Next thing you know, nigga, they up in that motherfucker. They're like, yeah, you want $50 million? What I gotta do? Just be like, man, he was up in that motherfucker. Next thing you know, it got real greasy up in there. You feel me? Next thing you slipped on baby oil and then you hurt yourself up in there or something. So that's how you know what I'm saying? Like, you can really get injured easily up in there, man. So you can just, it's easy money grab. So let's get it more into it. We might could find a way we can get us some money. Let's see.
Feels like there could be a lot more than that. Do you think when you look at this case now that he's ever going to come out of prison?
I do not think Mr. Combs will get out. I was not surprised that he did not get bond. I was saying from the beginning that I was fairly certain due to my experience in the legal field that he would not be getting bond and that he would be there until his court case. I also feel as if having a trial would not be in his best interest, and I'll explain why. everything that comes out in that criminal trial will be used by not only me, but every other civil litigator who has a civil case against Mr. Combs. Everything that the federal government proves beyond a reasonable doubt, because they have a higher criteria to meet than we do. It's the preponderance of the evidence in civil court. So if we have the federal government, if you will, doing all of our heavy lifting.
I was surprised too. I ain't gonna lie. I was taken aback. No, when he put up the 53 million and they was like, nope. And then he was like, man, I got assets and everything else. I can take it all. Nope, bro. Come on. They know they finna get that bread. They know that's what that is. They know they like, man, nah, we want to just break you for everything. Because in any case, a victim in any other situation, the victim's justice is the person going to jail. That's the justice. But now they know, hey, hold on, some money grab here. Let's go ahead and put that in motion, and then we gonna, you feel me? We gonna work that out. Next thing you know, we rich off the Diddy. All the work you put in for 30 years to make a whole bunch of other people rich is crazy. I guess that could be a blessing too. Maybe you blessed the world. You feel me? Maybe your misfortune is a whole lot of other people's fortune. Maybe, you feel me? Maybe that could be the silver lining and all that. You feel me? For real.
Thing for us in a very public trial, all of the discovery that is done will be very valuable, invaluable almost, to every civil attorney who is working on a civil case, which I believe we're about at 14, 15, outside of the other attorney who recently said that he has 50 individuals. And I don't know if he actually has 50 people or if that's a shock value number. I'd be curious to see once that filing comes out. I haven't seen it. I do know other attorneys who have several individuals that they are in the process of filing a complaint for. I'm in the process of filing the complaint for another victim and fielding calls from other individuals who I may take on as clients. I've actually spoke to multiple individuals but did not take on everybody as a client because I was unable to verify what it was that they were saying, not because I didn't believe them or believe that what they were saying to be true. And that's why I've also expressed at the beginning that Mrs. Wright needs to seek legal counsel, not only about things that she's saying, things that other people are saying that she's repeating, only because a lawyer will go and do a certain level of due diligence to make sure that there's a good faith basis that the claims being asserted are actually true. But I never thought that Mr. Combs would get bond. I do not feel it would be advantageous for him to take this to trial because it would only destroy not destroy him financially, but also let's even pretend he were to get off everything, which I absolutely do not see him being victorious in a criminal trial. The feds have, I believe, like a 97 point something success rate. He's pretty much shooting blind in that situation. His attorney is not doing anything to help him either.
Let's stop her. Again, y'all. Again, the Fed thing, right? She keep bringing up the feds. The feds have their case. Like you got a state situation, you got your Fed situation. In his situation with the Fed situation, if there was, so say for instance, if they got him, they got the human trafficking, but say the human trafficking ain't interstate. Say the bras he was rocking with, they was where he was at, right? Or he didn't call them, they just popped up. That's different than if you have some bras transported from California to New York or Miami per se, and when they get there, you feel me, they partying with you, and then that turn to them busting dates. You feel me? So what happens with the feds is they see that, okay, she busting dates out of state, and they get her, okay, she's really supposed to go to jail also for prostitution. But nowadays, they use them as witnesses, and they'll flip them, what they call flipping. They'll flip them, make them be the witness on whoever it is they want to bring down, and usually they build a human trafficking case. In those cases, they come at you with like, they don't come at you, but the lowest you can get is like 15 years and up. So that's why she's saying she don't think he gonna get out, because she think that mixed with the other charges that she got and the other little thing that's gonna make it where he's gonna get 100 years. Well, to keep it honest with y'all, he probably at the max, he's probably gonna get the same time R. Kelly got, which is 30 years. He's probably only gonna get 30 if he's found guilty. However, the feds also could say, all right, we can come at you with a deal because we really don't want to prosecute this whole case. But if they got, let me see, he's a billionaire, right? If he spend, say he's spending 50 million to 100 million on just his representation, his lawyers, right? It's 50 to 100, right? That's 100. Say he a billionaire though, right? He got that plus in assets, right? So he spend that on just the lawyer. Lawyer gonna want a house and about 50 million, right? So bam, he get that. Bam. Now, when you deal with restitution, that's the judge, that's the community, that's the prosecutor, that's federal versus the person, because they always represent federal versus who the person is. Bam. So now you got all that compiling, right? So now that they're gonna say, okay, because it's federal case, this is his first charge. This has never been locked up for anything in his life before. However, the seriousness of this charge is going to have him with the 15-year minimum. You know what I'm saying? So because he's never did a crime before, and his counsel is going to contest that, some of the people weren't coerced. They're going to contest that some of the people weren't drugged. They're going to contest that it wasn't just him alone. That they're going to contest different things, right? So because the contest comes in, now the prosecutor has to make a decision on how they're going to spend the money to prosecute. They can get an automatic, a guilty plea if they can say, okay, because they're going to still have to pay restitution. If they get the automatic guilty plea, if they get him to say, hey man, yeah, I did that, and say, okay, we'll give you 15 years, or we'll give you 25 years for the whole thing, for everything. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta plead guilty to all this. Once he pleads guilty, all those people, those 50 people with those things, they all got a case now to say, okay, yeah, we get that money. You think he's gonna tell? Man, absolutely. His attorney's gonna tell him to tell. His attorney's gonna be like, man, we need you to give up anybody who you think was right there in those times that can corroborate your story of being a good guy. So if they make you look like a good guy and themselves look like a bad guy, we need those names. We need those names as anybody who previously to you had this going and you were inspired by them. We need those names. If they still alive, they still around, we need to know who those people is. And I think right now, while he's in jail, because when you're in jail, he's in probably a single man cell, federal, you know what I mean? Single man cell, rubber cell, because, the suicide watch. They in there asking, bro, they like, hey, man, not the regular police, but the federal investigators are asking him, hey, man, tell us what you know. We know you ain't alone on this. They being good cop, bad cop to him up in there. Yeah, man, tell us what you know, man. One in there, man, you better tell us. One like, man, you can talk to me, man. I'm cool. I'm your friend. I'm your pal, buddy. Just tell us, man. Who else was, what I mean, helping this go down, man? And we can take them off the streets, man. It might help you a lot. And he's telling, he's like, man, it was Jeffrey Epstein was in the start. I had Clyde Davis with me, you feel me? I had all these people. We gonna get the name and names, Meek Mill. It's sad though, but like, that's what's finna happen. He finna just get the, you feel me? He gonna tell what he know just in order, because it's life or death for him. Just like you seen R. Kelly. When Gail King had him on that show, and he just started breaking down in tears, all the emotion come out, you feel me? It's life or death right here, you feel me? It's a real human thing, you feel me? So naturally, he gonna be up in there like trying to fight for his life. So if they tell him, hey, who else was with you? I don't think it's gonna be a thing for him to be like, yep, it was so and so, him and them. You seen how quick she gave up all the people, Jaguar Wright gave up 50 names. She was Jay-Z, and she got to name everybody. Oh man, that was crazy. Let's go to Vlad though. Let's see what Vlad had to say. We skipped Vlad. Let's see what Vlad got to say.
Think of what you just heard.
Well, Jaguar Wright is known to be a conspiracy theorist. I don't really co-sign anything that she says. I've never had her on my show, and I don't have any plans to have her on my show.
You don't believe her?
She got an album in 20 years, and a lot of this stuff is just stuff she's heard, things she's making up, and so forth. I'm not saying that there aren't serious things that Diddy may have done, but yeah, I can't co-sign anything that Jaguar Wright is saying, if that's your question.
Well, I mean, obviously, since we last spoke, there have now been these charges against Diddy, which are incredibly serious. You didn't think at the time we last spoke that he was likely to face it.
Trump or Harris?
Should they be cheating me like that? Should they hurry up and put some promotions on, try to cheat us out of Don't worry, we out of there though. Hey, that's crazy. You see how Vlad, he said he don't agree with nothing she's saying. But she said Jay-Z was a part of it and Beyonce. Said Clyde Davis and all type of people. So let's see what they really talking about.
These charges. Are you surprised it's come to this?
I'm not surprised, because I feel that law enforcement in general is reactionary. I think that when you look at high-profile individuals, their arrests, indictments usually come after a documentary, a big TV show, or in Diddy's case, there was this huge lawsuit that Cassie filed that everyone got to see all the details and all the attention that came to it. So yeah, it wasn't a surprise that it actually happened, because you've seen this happen over and over again. R. Kelly, Harvey Weinstein, all the attention that they got, and then now Diddy. So yeah, I mean, this is ultimately the world that we live in. But he'll have his day in court. And, you know, his lawyer said that he's not going to take a plea deal, because I think a plea deal at this point is probably going to be very heavy-handed, probably 20 years plus. So it makes sense for him to go to court. Yeah. But we'll ultimately see what happens, you know, because we haven't really seen, apart from some of the funny stuff of, oh, there's 1 million bottles of lube that they found there. I'm sorry, 1,000 bottles of lube and so forth. We have yet to really see what the evidence is. And I think once we see the actual evidence, then people will actually formulate an opinion on what's happening right now.
Do you think there's a lot of people in the rap world in particular who are pretty fearful right now of where this may all lead?
Rap world?
Is it a bit like the Epstein scandal, do you think?
What rapper though?
I don't really think so, because I mean, ultimately, everyone wanted to go to Diddy's white parties when they were happening. You know, if I got an invite, I would go. But there's a party within a party. There's the actual party where the big celebrities go to, the Howard Sterns and the Leonardo DiCaprios and so forth. You never hear of any of them really being involved in any of this stuff. They go home, you know, at 2, 3 o'clock a.m.
2, 3 o'clock a.m.
Parties that seem to involve the sex workers and probably certain types of people that are kind of in an inner circle. No. And we'll see if those names ultimately come out or not. You know, I think that when it comes to a situation like the feds, cooperating is a very big thing. And I think if Diddy cooperates and gives up some big names of actual crimes that they committed, that'd be a way of actually, you know, lessening the amount of time that he does, or possibly even walking away.
I mean, what had you heard about Diddy over the years? Obviously, people knew he had parties, they knew he was a big rap star and so on, but the nature of this kind of thing. I mean, I'm asking because when I watched, for example, I met Diddy a couple of times. He was always perfectly charming to me. But you know, I've met a lot of people who are charming and turned out to be monsters. The video that came out of showing him beating up his then girlfriend in a hotel corridor was so shocking that when I watched it, I remember thinking, well, this guy is capable of anything. I mean, a man that would do that, who's that famous, who would do that to a woman in a hotel corridor, public hotel corridor, if he's prepared to be that violent in public, knowing there might be cameras around, he's prepared to do pretty much anything, was my conclusion. I mean, what did you hear about him over the years?
Yeah, I mean, that tape was horrific. And after our interview that we did with Roger Bonds, who I helped to bring onto the show, I did my own interview with Roger Bonds. It was a very in-depth, I think, two-hour interview, where he goes into actually witnessing a lot of women that were physically abused by Diddy. I mean, not only Cassie, of course, which you saw multiple times, but Kim Porter. He was on a trip where Kim Porter got her nose broken allegedly by Diddy and flew in a plastic surgeon to fix it.
We never knew that.
There was a personal chef that Diddy beat up. I actually heard voicemails of her describing it. This wasn't even something that she wanted to come publicly with. There was other women as well that I got details on. So I think that Diddy has a long history of violence towards women, but also men, because there's also the Steve Stout incident. If you remember that whole situation, he was in a music video with Nas, Hate Me Now, and there was a scene where Diddy was on the cross like Jesus, and I guess he went to Steve Stout afterwards and said that he wants to take that part out. That part wasn't taken out, so Diddy and his entourage show up at Steve Stout's office and they beat him with a champagne bottle, which they ultimately settled out of court for. So I think there's a lot of violence that has happened around him, and I think at this point it's just catching up to him.
There's lots of rumor mills about him being secretly gay or bisexual or whatever. I mean, I don't care, but do you think there's much credence to those?
I mean, it's hard to say. I have heard, because we'll remember, for example, the Wendy Williams situation. She was on the radio in New York, and she said that she had photos of Diddy in.
Donald Trump wakes up thinking about himself.
Come on, man. Y'all scandalous. You see how they do me? They know he was just finna get to the meat and bones, man. He finna get to the meat and bones, man. I gotta get to the meat and bones, man. Hold on. What you finna say next? Hey, Chief. We gonna get that. Feel me? Here we go.
A gay type environment of some sort. And I had someone actually explain to me what that photo was after the fact. And Diddy came in and threatened to sue the radio station unless she was fired. And she was fired, and she had to go to Philly for, I think, 5 years or something like that. So there was that. I'm not sure how true it is, because it was just a photo, and a photo, could mean a lot of different things. I mean, the fact that he's a cuckold, that he likes to masturbate while watching women that he's with have sex with other men. I don't know. Is that gay? Is that bisexual? Is that just being a cuckold? It's hard to say. It's not something that I'm actually into. But I'm sure it blurs the lines between homosexuality and bisexuality somewhat. But I don't think he's exclusively gay, because he has a lot of children. It's hard to really say, and it ultimately doesn't really matter. And, I've talked about this in my interviews. I think if he came forward and said, hey, I'm a bisexual man, I think a lot of the jokes, like the no Diddy jokes and so forth, will kind of ease down, and people might actually be a little understanding of his situation a little bit more, as opposed to him denying it. But ultimately, who knows? I have no idea.
We've talked, people have talked a lot in the last few years that it's unusual that so few people in the music business have been held to account under the Me Too campaign umbrella in the way that other industries were held to account. Could this be, following R. Kelly and others, could this be a tipping point where there might be a lot of other rap stars in particular, perhaps with very checkered backgrounds, lots of rumors about them, could all start falling like dominoes?
It's hard to say. Like I said in the beginning, it's very reactionary. I think if there is a lot of media attention over somebody, there's a documentary about them, there's movies about them and so forth, I think that ends up getting on law enforcement's radar, and then you will see things kind of escalate very quickly. It's hard to say. R. Kelly was extremely high profile, and there will be others, but I don't think that the music industry is really having less situations than other industries. I mean, every industry has certain situations and they're high profile. There's a bunch of other stuff that kind of falls below the radar.
Finally, BjmTheRapper, what do you think is going to happen here? Do you think Diddy will ever come out of prison?
That's a tough one, because I was really shocked that he didn't get a bond. I thought for sure that he'd be sitting in his mansion right now awaiting trial, but he's sitting in a jail cell right now, and it could be years before this actually makes it to trial. So it proves that things are very, very serious on his end. And if you look at the R. Kelly situation, he got, I believe, 30 years. This may fall along the same lines, except the only difference is when I looked into the R. Kelly case, a lot of the convictions were based on underage girls. You've heard a few spatterings of underage accusations, but in general, it seemed like most of the women were of legal age in the Diddy case. So I'm thinking it won't be as severe as it is with Diddy. I'm sorry, as it is with R. Kelly. But for someone like Diddy, who's in his mid 50s, he doesn't want to spend 5, 10, 20 years in prison.
No.
He wants to get out. He wants to keep it moving. So I think he will get out of prison at one point. It's just hard to say, right now what it's going to be.
Yeah, it is. It's a fascinating story. DJ Vet, thank you very much indeed for joining me. I appreciate it.
You feel me?
Thank you for having me.
That was that, man. I appreciate y'all
for being
up in here with me, man. You feel me? We had to get that thing rocking, man. Thank you, my boy No for showing me much love, man. Appreciate you, fam. Hey, till next time, man. Stay tuned, man. We're gonna keep this thing popping. We real ones, so this is how we do it. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to the streets.